Hey everyone, Dr. Dan here. So if you're on this video, what we're going to do is basically get you started with the Hello World with Dr. Dan course. So again, you can access my GitHub page via the link that will be in the comments section, or the comments below. And that's going to get you access to all the free source code. So in this video, I'm going to basically help you get that source code on your computer the most easy way possible so that you can run it for yourself. If you would like to see that code written from scratch with in-depth tutorials, hours and hours and hours of video, just like you are getting professional instruction, I'd encourage you to go to hellodrdan.com and sign up for that. But in the meantime, let's get all this code up and running so you can start to poke around with it and change it yourself. I would encourage you, if you do have a GitHub account, go ahead and star this account. It would be a huge help to me. But anyway, so again, what's in this course? You can find the syllabus just on the GitHub page. Module 1's really all the basics, basically starting from scratch, as if you knew absolutely nothing about code you never programmed before. You're going to start off with printing out the console, primitive data type, strings and parsing and whatnot. This is just the basic. If you ever want to see what's in any of these files in particular, you can just click on one of these and there will be a little bit more of a detailed what you're going to learn in this lesson at the very top. Functions and storage is the next thing. Object-oriented programming, we do a Star Wars example on that. Exceptions, file input and output, writing to files and reading from files, and so on and so forth. So there's a ton of content here. This will take you from an absolute beginner, assuming you know nothing, to a pretty knowledgeable programmer. You'll have all the basics to really launch you off into just about any language you can imagine. Again, we're teaching the fundamentals of programming. We just happen to do it in Java. The last module is really transitioning you into C++ and specifically from Java. Okay, so with that said, you need to get all this code onto your computer using Git. So this is hosted on github.com. So what you need to download that is a tool called Git. So go ahead and open up a new browser and type in Git, that's G-I-T, and then download. We'll Google that and you'll see the first link that comes up, Git downloads, this Git SCM page. And you'll go ahead and just download it for your particular operating system. So for me, it's Windows. So go ahead and download that. It's about 50 megabytes, so go ahead and run that. Next. Just go ahead and click through everything. I use Notepad. That, by the way, that decision did not matter whatsoever. If you're clicking through that, this is just what's going to pop up. It really isn't going to matter for you. So you can leave it as is. And again, I'm just going to leave everything pretty much as it is. A lot of options. So wait for that to install. And what this is going to do is just a tool. Git is used when you have teams who are working on projects, so you can kind of collaborate with your code. Let's say you have 5 people or dozens of people or hundreds of people working on the same project. It basically allows you to keep track of revision history of your project. So I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and hit finish, and now I have Git installed on my machine. Okay. So what I want to do is in my File Explorer, wherever you store your code, you want to go there. So in the previous video, if you tracked along with the previous video where we installed Eclipse in the Java development kit, we just did it in the C drive. Had a folder with my name, Dan, and then I had code repositories, and I had Java, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is just in that directory, Dan code repositories, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder called, we'll call that hello Dr. Dan _ completed. Okay. And what we'll do then is we're going to go ahead and get all this code. So if you actually go into that directory, you will see that hello Dr. Dan _ completed. So at this point, you should be able to open up a command prompt or a PowerShell window in that directory. I'll go ahead and just do it from the command line so you can kind of see how they get there in case that's not set up properly in your Windows environment. Anyway, just hit the Windows key and type in CMD. If you're on a Mac, you're just going to open up your terminal. I think you can find it through the spotlight. So we're basically trying to navigate to this directory right here. So I'm going to do cd ... which is going to go up a directory. You'll see it got rid of the Dan. cd ... and then cd Dan, cd code repositories, cd hello Dr. Dan completed. Okay, now that I'm in this directory, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get all this code on my computer. So the way that I do that is in GitHub, you'll see on the top of this page with all my code on it, you'll see this clone or download green button. So go ahead and click that, and then it will basically kind of give you this option to clone with HTTPS. Literally just click this button, and I believe that should copy it to your clipboard. And I'm going to go ahead, and now again you'll see here's my empty folder, and here's a command prompt which is in that folder. I'm going to go ahead and type in git with an I, G-I-T, clone, space, and then I'm going to, in Windows I could just right click to kind of paste whatever was on my clipboard, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, the same process should work for you in Mac as well. It just will be in the terminal program. So you can see it automatically downloaded this folder, and inside that folder is all of the different code for this particular course that I'm offering, all these 8 modules of code. So that's great. The next thing that we want to do is, you can see it actually created a new folder here. So what I typically do is I'll just take all this stuff and I'll right click, I'll cut it, and then I will paste it in there. Just kind of get rid of my hello-world folder. That way I kind of have this, all of my code in this hello Dr. Dan _ completed folder. Okay, so now what I want to do is to get this code actually up and running so you can kind of see it working and modify it, play around with it yourself. Just open up your Eclipse IDE, and then you'll want to go to a new workspace. So click on Browse, and then you're just going to find this directory. So I can just copy it up here and then go ahead and paste it in there. And then again, just navigate to that hello Dr. Dan completed directory and then select the folder for that one, or you can go back up one and click on it and then select it. And anyway, you should see something like this, and then you'll click launch. Okay, so you can see in the background it's already kind of creating some files behind the scenes for Eclipse. So go ahead and close the welcome. And what we're going to do here, now this is the most important thing, is that we kind of have to manually create the folders here. Now the folders already exist, but Eclipse doesn't really see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click the Create a Java Project, and you basically want to call the project name exactly what the module name is, or the folder name is here. So I'll literally just click on it once and copy it. It's the safest way, and then paste it in that project name. Okay. You'll notice, I think typically, yeah, you can see if it's exactly the same, then it kind of basically says, hey, the wizard will automatically configure the project based on the existing source. So it does see the source. If we delete something, you'll see it. It thinks it's a new project. So anyway, so once you have that, just click Finish. And again, click on Don't Create for this module that it wants to create. And then you actually should have a project here you can see with all the source. And at this point, I should be able to open up any of these projects, and I should be able to play them. Okay, so you can see all the code working properly. And it's expecting you to type something in here, so that's why it just kind of stopped right there. If you need to close a program or stop it, just hit that stop button. So you would basically do the same thing for any of the other modules. If you wanted to mess around with module 2, then go ahead and create a new Java project, module _02 _ functions and storage, finish, don't create. And then again, we will see pretty much any of these. If you want to do a cards example here, we will see a program in action there. This is just shuffling, actually not shuffling, but generating a deck of cards. And then we can go ahead and kind of dish out some cards for each player. Okay, so that process would basically be repeated modules 1 through 7. Module 8 will be a little bit different. C++ will involve some extra setup just to get C++ working on your computer. I'll save that for another video, but again, this should work all the way up through module 7. So that is the completed code. Now, if you do want to go ahead and take the course along with me, where you can actually kind of write this code from scratch and kind of follow along the video tutorials, then what you'll need in that case is the templates for each of these files. Now, I would recommend downloading the final code just to have it and as a separate environment. So this is a good step to take either way, but let's go ahead now and download just the templates so you can kind of start from scratch. So you'll see, like in lesson 1, for instance, if I look at all the code right here, you'll see it's basically completely done for us, and that's true for all of these. So what I'm going to do is, back in my GitHub page, you'll notice a little drop down with the branch on here. So the master, that's the completed code. You'll also notice a branch called starter-templates. Okay, so what does that mean? Essentially, if I go into one of these modules and I look at, this is, for instance, is a file that I just looked at, again, what we just downloaded in our Eclipse environment using Git, you'll see it's a completed code. And what you can actually do is, at any point on github.com, you can select the branch and change it. So if I go to the starter templates, you'll see that there's actually a different version of this code. So essentially, I have these templates which have all the kind of what you're going to learn, as well as just kind of getting the program, printing out the learning objectives, but then you'll pretty much write from scratch. And a lot of these, I'll keep the comments in there just so you're not having to retype all the comments. Just kind of gives you a bare bone structure that you can really code easily and well along with me. So in order to get all of that, we'll need to do a pretty similar process, but the main thing to see is that we have this starter-templates. Okay, this is the name of the branch. So what we're going to do there is, I'm going to go back one directory in my code repositories. I'm going to create another directory called hello Dr. Dan _ templates. Okay, so this will be kind of your working directory where you are coding alongside of me if you should choose to kind of take that course with me. So anyway, you'll go ahead and inside the templates, we'll do another kind of git clone, but it'll be a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my command prompt, and I'm going to change directory ... to go up one directory back into repositories. And then I'm going to change directory into hello Dr. Dan templates. If you hit tab, it'll kind of complete the options out for you of all the different directories it sees. So we'll do templates. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say git clone, just like we did before, but instead of just pasting out that address, which was, if we go back to the main page of the repository, I can go ahead and copy that address again. Instead of just pasting it right there, I'm going to type a few commands first. Okay, and I'm going to type in --single -branch with a space, and then --branch space starter templates. Okay, and then a space, and then I'm going to paste that address that you got online. Okay. So basically, git clone from this address, that's pretty much the same, but what we're telling it is, we're saying, hey, just grab the branch called starter templates, and then this is just saying, hey, only grab the code for that specific branch. Don't grab a bunch of other stuff in the process. So I hit enter, and you'll see immediately it's going to start to download. Enter. Oh, still going for some reason. Oh, there we go. Now I hit enter, and it goes ahead and downloads that code. And you will see if I open this up, this code will look a little bit different. It will be, if I open with, let's just do a Notepad. You'll see it just has, it doesn't have the actual code, it just kind of has the headers in there. So with that, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the completed code, and I'm going to basically copy everything. I'm going to cut everything out of that directory, and I'm going to paste it directly into my templates folder, and then I'm going to delete the hello-world-drdan-java. Okay, so now in Eclipse I can go ahead and click on a file, switch workspace, and then I'm going to click other, and I'm going to go and browse, and I'm just going to go up one directory, and then I'm going to select the templates directory instead this time. Click select folder, launch. And once this loads up, we're basically going to go through a similar process. We'll create a Java project, and we'll call this the exact same thing that you see over here. So module_01_basics. Okay, and again, you should see it pop up with something when you get that, when you get it spelled just right, it should pop up with something about existing source. So click finish. Don't create. Okay, and then once you kind of expand through here, you'll see my lesson 1 basics. So now when I hit the play button, you'll see it's basically just printing out the programming objective, and that way you can program alongside of me with the video tutorials and kind of type what I'm typing, which I highly recommend. You can obviously look at the code depending on how advanced you are with Java. That may help a lot as a final resource, but just for muscle memory and just kind of starting something from scratch really is the best way to learn, especially when you have a video where you can pause it, you can speed it up, you can slow it down depending on your particular pace. I really do my best to absolutely not skip any steps. Like I mentioned, I have been teaching intro courses for years and years now, and quite aware of what students really get caught up on. I know a lot of online courses, people are typically just doing that as an online type of business. They don't ever actually teach with real students, with real people. They don't interact with real people. It's just kind of, here's something I know, I'm going to toss it online. And I get frustrated myself as a veteran programmer. I've been programming for probably 15, 16 years now. Let's just make about 13 or 14 years now. And I get just as frustrated as beginners probably do, because you know, everything's new to someone. If you're learning a new language, even if you program for a while, there's still a lot of new stuff to take in. So I'm very well aware, especially in this realm of Java, C++, and a lot of these kind of starting from scratch scenarios. I'm very well aware of kind of what a good pace is and what students do understand and what they don't understand, what needs to be reiterated. So I'd really encourage you to check out the course. Again, that's hellodrdan.com, and I think you'll find a really good experience. Be a great supplement if you are taking your first year programming at a college level, or even in high school, maybe doing an AP course. Or if you just maybe you're a professional and you want some really solid, thorough lessons from beginner to expert, I think you'll find a great experience in hellodrdan.com. All right, guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next video.